Well, it's the 1st of September. We've been practicing all year with our bow. We're getting ready to go to Nelson Outfitters out in Wyoming. It's one of our most favorite places in the world to go. We get off the plane, we finally arrive at Dave's house. He takes us out and we get to watch deer. We get there a day and a half early, so we kind of get to see what's on the ranch, and it just pumps you up even more. So the first morning, we were sitting in a stand that's called the rock pile stand, and we'd seen this really big mule deer. And I've never wanted to take a mule deer out here because the whitetail tears me up so bad, but this mule deer kind of got my attention.
It's opening day of whitetail mule deer season. We're out here in Wyoming with Nelson Outfitters. We've been out here for a couple of days, and as you can see, man, we have seen some unreal whitetails and mule deer. The wind's blowing like 100 miles an hour this morning. A lot of deer are skittish. I don't know why. We seen a black bear here yesterday. So this is day one. Stick with us. We'll bring it to you day by day. 3B Outdoors.
Me and Dustin talked about it, and I told Dustin, I said, if a really, really good whitetail doesn't walk by, I'm gonna hold out for that mule deer. Well, the wind was just crazy that day, and we didn't see the mule deer, and deer was scattering all over the field, and it was just like something was after them. We're going to the pig pen tonight, so who knows what can happen. You know how our luck is out here. Might be a big Angus bull walk by, might be a guy on a four-wheeler, there might be a cattle driver going by, who knows. We sat on the rock pile the night before and watched probably 6, 8 shooter bucks go through this hole. They've got a hole in the fence where they've put in a new water line, and these deer are just funneling through this hole like you would not believe. There's some really good deer that I was just thinking, man, if I get a shot at one of those deer, that I'm gonna take him. Well, Dave showed us a lot of pictures that he had, and just again, like I said, tremendous deer. So the wind was right for that hunt of the night, and what we're doing, we're hunting travel patterns from to and from bedding and alfalfa field. So we get in the blind, we have several deer pass by, we have a few really nice bucks pass high, and we're thinking, well, here we go again. These bucks are gonna skirt us. Well, it gets down to that witching hour, and we look up and we see a few nice bucks coming, and Dustin turns to me and said, there's really a nice shooter coming down the lane. Well, I don't know how many of you've tried to film and hunt at the same time, but you kind of look like Sanford and Son when you've got all this stuff packed on you. Well, when we see this deer step out, we know definitely that he's a shooter, and Dave's had some pictures of him, and he's a really nice deer. We both get really torqued up, and if you've not tried to film and hunt before, you think you can do it, it's really tough sometimes, especially when you get your adrenaline flowing and things get pumped up. And what happened, Dustin turns the camera on, and he thinks he's got record on, and nothing. The deer comes in, he don't go the trail that he's supposed to. He goes about 10 foot below the trail, jumps the fence, and he jumps the fence pretty quick. And I knew that I was gonna have to stop this deer to get a shot at him before he gets out of my picture, because we had the blind set up to where the cameraman had most of the view of the deer, and the shooter just had one spot to shoot him. We expected the deer to stop like at 7 yards. But he goes down, he jumps the fence, and I have to stop him. Well, when we stop him, I draw back, 15-yard shot. I shoot, I hit the side of the blind. I make a not so good shot. But once the deer took off, Dustin looks at me and he drops his head and he said, I didn't get it. Well, the deer ran up through some brush. He turns the camera back on and he actually gets the deer jumping the fence, and he goes down into the draw. Well, I thought I'd made such a bad shot. We went back and we looked at the footage, and actually the broadhead actually done its job. It wasn't as bad as we thought, but we get out of the blind, we come back and we review the footage, and
and we decided that we was going to let the deer lay until the next day. Well, it was a really long night trying to sleep and anticipating this deer, because this is one of the biggest deer I've ever shot in my life. And we come back the next morning and we get on a blood trail, had a really good blood trail. The deer wasn't laying probably 100, 125 yards from where I shot him. And that kind of goes to show you, if you think you've made a bad shot, just back out. Come back the next day, and if you've got a good head and you've got it in the right spot, you'll find that deer somewhere. Just don't push it. Right here he is. Right here he is. Yes, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Man, what a deer. Good grief. Thanks, Dave.
Good job, buddy.
Man, that is a hog. I believe this was the best one I've ever killed out here, Dave.
He's a pretty one.
Oh, man. What a deer. What a deer. You know, I have to thank the good Lord for this deer, because I made a bad shot on him. And it was a sleepless night, a long night. I didn't sleep real well. And, you know, we knowed we had a rage in him, and it done its job. You know, that's why I shoot a Matthews right there. You know, Dave, I've been coming out here for 7 years.
Yep.
And man, you know, your place is so tremendous that it's just unreal. And I think, you know, you had the blue tongue here, what, 5, 6 years ago? And I think that you're seeing the result of getting back where you need to be. I mean, we have seen so many bucks this year that will go 4 or 5 year old. Nice bucks. Man, this is a nice deer. Full velvet. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. 14, 15, 16. Oh yeah. You know, when you think of filming a whitetail hunt, it's the reality of it. I mean, the things that you want to happen and the things that you want to capture on TV or video camera, and exactly what you do is not always what you get. You've got blood pumping, adrenaline flowing, and that big world-class whitetail is out there. And if it can go wrong, I promise you, it will go wrong. If you want to come on a world-class trophy whitetail hunt, you need to give Dave Nelson of Nelson Outfitters a call. We're going to show you how to get a hold of them at the end of the show. And we also have to thank Dave's wife, Jan, Dave's son, Stephen. We have to thank Dave Deming. You know, the accommodations out there and those guys are just unreal.